Maya Carter heard the radio crackle before she understood the words. The sound cut through the grocery store's carts rattling, a child laughing somewhere near frozen foods, and landed hard in her chest. Her hand tightened around her phone. Jamal stood beside her, 10 years old, cereal dust on his fingers, eyes wide as if the lights had suddenly grown too bright. The security guard's shadow stretched across the aisle, long and deliberate. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. He leaned toward his radio and spoke as if reciting policy, as if the shelves themselves were listening. "Possible theft," he said. "Black child." The aisle went quiet in that way public places do when everyone pretends not to stare. Maya felt the heat climb her neck, the old, familiar warning bell in her body. Jamal's fingers found her sleeve, small and shaking. She stepped between them. Phone already lifting, heart beating loud enough to drown out the store music. "He was reading the box," she said, steadying her voice. "With me." The guard's mouth twitched. The manager appeared inside, eyes sliding away. A bystander coughed. Someone else raised a phone. Maya pressed record and felt the red dot bloom like a promise. "State your name," she said, not blinking. Silence answered her. The guard smiled. Outside, cold air burned her lungs as she pushed the cart through the doors. Jamal crying now, confusion cracking his voice. In the parking lot, her phone buzzed once, then again, and again. Maya looked down at the screen, at the video she hadn't meant to make, and hit post. Behind the glass, the guard watched. The comments began to climb. Maya Carter pushed her cart through the automatic doors of the BrightMart, the air sharp with bleach and winter coats. Her son, Jamal, swung his backpack against his knee, humming. He was 10, all elbows and curiosity, brown eyes skimming shelves. Maya clocked the security guard by the entrance, a man with a stiff posture and a radio clip high. She felt the old tightening anyway. "Mom, can I get cereal?" Jamal asked. "Put it in the cart," Maya said. "Just don't wonder." He grinned and reached. The guard's eyes followed the motion. Maya noticed the way his thumb hovered over the radio. They moved down the aisle. Jamal lifted a box, read the back. The guard appeared again at the end cap. "Hey," the man said, "put that back." Jamal froze. "I was gonna." "Now," the guard said. Maya stepped between them. "His shopping," she said, "with me." The guard's mouth flattened. "We've had issues," he said. "Kids like him." Maya felt heat rise. "What does that mean?" "It means," he said, lowering his voice, "I'm watching." Shoppers slowed. Someone coughed. Jamal's hand found Maya's sleeve. "Mom," he whispered. "So," Maya said, steadying, "you can't talk to my child like that." "Then control him," the guard said, "or I'll call it in." Maya pulled out her phone. The guard's eyes flicked. "You recording?" "Yes," she said, "for my safety." He smirked. "Policy," he said, tapping the badge. "No filming." "Show me," Maya said. He leaned in. "Last warning." A manager rounded the corner, name tag flashing. "Problem." "This woman's kid was concealing," the guard said. "He was reading," Maya said. "Ask the cameras." The manager sighed. Let's de-escalate." "By accusing my son," Maya said. Jamal's eyes filled. The guard raised the radio. "I need assistance." Maya lifted her phone higher. Her voice shook. "State your name." Silence. The manager looked away. The guard smiled. "Mom," Jamal said, "I didn't." "I know," she said. She pressed record. The red dot bloomed. That's when the guard spoke into the radio. Slow. "Possible theft," he said. "Black child." Maya's breath stopped. The words landed heavy, a bruise. "You don't get to label him," Maya said. "Take that back." The manager cleared his throat. "Sir," he murmured. The guard shrugged. "It's what I saw." Maya turned the phone toward Jamal. "Say your name." "Jamal Carter," he said, voice small. "How old?" 10. "Did you hide anything?" "No." Footsteps approached. Another guard, a woman with keys. Eyes. Phones rising. The manager said, Please lower the device. Not until this stops, Maya said. You're scaring my child. The first guard crosses arms. He fits a pattern. Maya laughed. Sharp. Say that again. He didn't. A shopper spoke. He didn't do anything. The manager winced. We'll review footage, he said. Let's step aside. Public accusation, Maya said. Public fix. The radio crackled. The guard stiffened. Cancel, he said. Too late. Maya felt the room tilt. She hugged Jamal. Breathe, she whispered. Sirens outside, distant. A pause stretched. The manager forced a smile. We apologize for the misunderstanding. For calling my son a thief. Silence. Maya ended the recording. Her hand shook. She pushed the card away. We're leaving. The manager said. Move, she said. They passed the doors. Cold air. Jamal cried. Maya kept walking. Outside, she checked the video. It had everything. She typed with shaking thumbs. This just happened, she wrote. My son deserves safety. She hit post. Behind the glass, the guard watched. Maya met his eyes. The red dot was gone, but the story had begun. Her phone buzzed instantly. A like. Another. Comment stacking. Jamal tugged her coat. Are we in trouble? No, Maya said, swallowing. We told the truth. A patrol car rolled past, slow. She felt watched. She took Jamal's face in her hands. Listen to me, she said. You did nothing wrong. He nodded, tears streaking. Why did he say that? Maya searched for words. Because some people decide before they look, she said, and because they are used to being believed. Her phone chimed. A local reporter message. Then another. Maya closed her eyes. The cold cut. She opened them. We're going home, she said. But this isn't over. Jamal squeezed her hand. Across the lot, the store lights glared. Maya started the car. Notifications kept coming. She pulled out, heart pounding. The city hummed. Somewhere, a system shifted, inch by inch. Maya glanced at the mirror. Jamal watched the road. Mom, he said, will they stop? Only if we make them, she said. She drove on, carrying fear and resolve. The post crossed state lines. The night listened. Consequences gathered. Somewhere inside BrightMart, a meeting was called. A camera was cued. A story waited to break. Tomorrow would decide. Maya woke before dawn to the sound of her phone vibrating itself across the nightstand. She reached for it without opening her eyes, already bracing. The screen glowed hot in her palm. Notifications stacked like a wall, numbers climbing faster than she could read. What is it? Jamal murmured from the mattress beside her. He had crawled into her bed sometime after midnight, his knees tucked tight. Nothing, Maya said, too quickly. She set the phone face down. Go back to sleep. He didn't. He watched her, quiet, older than yesterday. By 7, the clip had crossed 100,000 views. By 8, it was everywhere, stitched, reposted, debated. The guard's voice looped in Maya's head, stripped of context and then sharpened by it. Possible theft. Black child. People slowed the audio, captioned it, argued over intent like it was a math problem. Her sister called first. I'm proud of you, she said, but lock your accounts. I already did, Maya said. Mostly. At the kitchen table, Jamal ate toast in small bites. Why are people saying my name? He asked, pointing to the phone. Maya took a breath. They are talking about what happened, she said. Some are trying to help. Some aren't, he said. He wasn't asking. At drop-off, parents smiled too brightly or avoided her eyes. A dad she barely knew leaned in. So the video, he said, that was messed up. Thank you, Maya said, gripping Jamal's backpack strap until the bell rang. At Wake, her inbox filled with interview requests. A regional station, a national blog, a radio show. Her supervisor messaged, "Can we talk later?" The word sat heavy. At noon, a statement appeared. BrightMart logo, neutral font. We take concerns seriously. We are reviewing the situation. We value all customers. Maya laughed once, sharp. They value everyone, she said aloud to the empty room. A comment rose to the top under the clip. What did the kid do before filming? Another, security has a tough job. A third, why make it about race? Maya typed, deleted, typed again. She closed the app. The phone rang. This is Alex Moreno, a voice said. I'm a producer with Channel 7. We'd like to hear your side. It's on the video, Maya said. Yes, Alex said. But people listen differently when you say it. She thought of Jamal's face. No names, she said. No school. Of course. That afternoon, a former classmate messaged her. Haven't talked in years, but thank you. This happened to my nephew. Maya stared at the words until they blurred. Jamal's counselor called. He was quiet today, she said gently. He asked if rules change. Do they? Maya asked. They shouldn't, the counselor said. But kids notice patterns. At home, Maya set ground rules. No reading comments, she told Jamal. You can ask me anything. He nodded. Why did the man smile? Maya swallowed. Because he thought he was right, she said, and protected. That evening, BrightMart followed up with a longer note. Administrative leave. Cooperation with review. No apology. Administrative, Maya said, like a weather delay. Her supervisor finally called. This is a lot, he said. I support you. Just be careful. Careful of what? Maya asked. Backlash. Against a 10-year-old, she said. Silence stretched. Take tomorrow, he said. Unpaid. The next morning, the clip hit 1 million. A civil rights lawyer emailed. A fundraiser appeared without her asking. Someone mailed flowers with a note, for Jamal. A private message slipped through. I used to work loss prevention there. It's a quota. We were told who to watch. Maya's hands went cold. Jamal, she called. Come here. He came, wary. Are we in trouble? No, she said. We're not alone. They sat on the couch. The TV showed her own face, pixelated. The anchor said her name carefully. Jamal leaned into her side. Do we have to go back? Not yet, Maya said. Her phone buzzed again. BrightMart requested a meeting. She read the email twice. Outside, a neighbor knocked. Just checking in, she said, pressing soup into Maya's hands. This town's watching. Maya closed the door and exhaled. The day had weight, the kind that bends spines. She opened the clip one last time. The red dot blinked in memory. She saw the smile. She saw Jamal's eyes. She replied to BrightMart. Tomorrow, she wrote, bring your policies. When she put the phone down, it kept vibrating. The clip rolled on, gathering voices. Somewhere, someone decided whether to speak up or stay quiet. Maya looked at Jamal. We'll go slow, she said. He nodded. Okay. Outside, sirens passed without stopping. The city learned a name, and a pattern began to show. Maya sat at the kitchen table with her laptop open, the glow painting shadows under her eyes. Jamal was upstairs, headphones on, humming softly while he did homework. She had spent the morning scrolling through online forums, news articles, and legal archives. Every search returned variations of the same story. A black child singled out, a manager shrugging, security claiming patterns. Policies written in corporate speak, hiding real consequences behind euphemism. She found one buried court filing from 3 years prior. BrightMart had quietly settled a claim for profiling. Another forum post described an anonymous employee instructed to follow certain demographics more closely. Patterns, policies, people calling it reasonable suspicion, people calling it theft prevention. The language had changed, but the impact hadn't. Her phone buzzed. A former employee, anonymity guaranteed. I worked loss prevention at BrightMart years ago. The message read, they told us to profile kids like yours. It's routine. Maya's stomach twisted. Routine. She read it again, then called Alex Moreno, the reporter. I have more, she said. Alex asked for documents, dates, names, anything to show the system, not just an incident. Maya spent the day compiling screenshots, forum posts, and emails. She cross-referenced complaints, noting that managers rarely responded, and when they did, they downplayed race entirely. Jamal came downstairs with his backpack. "Mom," he said softly, "why do they care about me?" Maya froze. Words seemed inadequate. "Some people," she said slowly, "decide before they even look." He looked at her, eyes wide, corners damp. "But why?" "Because," she said, swallowing hard, "they're used to being believed, and they think you'll be quiet." He nodded, but she saw the question still lingering in his gaze. By evening, she had a folder titled Patterns, filled with evidence, links, screenshots. She showed Jamal the first few lines. "This," she said, "is why your story matters." He didn't fully understand, but he reached for her hand. She held it tight, feeling the weight of truth pressing down. Maya emailed the civil rights attorney Alex had suggested, attaching her evidence. She wrote the facts, concise, no emotion. She saved that for Jamal. Then, a ping, an anonymous tip. Another parent's child had been stopped in the same store last month. The description matched. Another pattern. Maya leaned back, rubbing her temples. She realized this wasn't a one-off. It wasn't just a guard. It was a system designed to watch, suspect, and label her son, and every child like him. She looked at Jamal's room. Posters on the wall, scattered Legos, books half-read, everything normal. And yet, the world outside saw something else entirely. She picked up a phone. "We're not done yet," she whispered. "We'll show them the pattern." Outside, the city moved, indifferent, unaware. Inside, a mother's resolve hardened. This time, she wasn't just reacting. She was building a case. She would illuminate what had been hidden, one link, one email, one story at a time. The screen glowed. The pattern was clear, and she was ready to fight. The next morning, Maya entered the BrightMart corporate office with a laptop bag slung over her shoulder. The air smelled faintly of coffee and recycled paper, neutral and sterile. A receptionist led her into a conference room lined with frosted glass. She could see blurred silhouettes of suits moving outside, executives on calls, assistants filing papers. Across the polished table, 2 PR representatives and a manager sat, stiff and prepared. The first PR woman, a sharp-shouldered brunette named Karen, offered a tight smile. "Ms. Carter," she said, "thank you for coming. We want to resolve this quickly." Maya placed her laptop on the table. The screen glowed, evidence open. Screenshots, emails, forum posts, her video. "Let's review what actually happened," she said, her voice steady. The manager, a middle-aged man with thinning hair, cleared his throat. "We regret any misunderstanding. Our security team follows standard procedure." Maya's jaw tightened. Standard procedure doesn't include accusing a 10-year-old of theft based on race. "You labeled my son. You humiliated him." Karen shifted in her chair. "We're here to ensure clarity, Ms. Carter. We value all customers equally." "I need specifics," Maya said, tapping the screen. "Names, policies, training documents. Your security team can't hide behind euphemism." The room went quiet. The manager leaned back. "Administrative leave has been placed. The officer is under review." Maya's eyes narrowed. "I want dates. I want the guidelines. I want accountability. And I want the manager who approved this contact today." Karen pursed her lips. "These matters are handled internally. We're cooperating fully. But we also need to maintain privacy." "Privacy?" Maya repeated. "My child was publicly accused. I demand transparency." The PR team exchanged glances. Maya's fingers hovered over the laptop. "I have evidence of patterns, internal communications. If this is only a vague apology, I will release what I have." The manager's face tightened. "We are committed to review and improvement." Maya leaned forward. "Your words mean nothing unless action follows. I want written procedures for how security officers are trained, specifically regarding racial profiling. I want them immediately." Karen typed a note. "We can provide general guidelines. Specifics, names, personnel files, confidential." Maya closed the laptop slightly. "Then I will expose what is missing. The public will know. The system will be seen for what it is." A beat of silence. Then Karen said, "We appreciate your candor. Let's schedule a follow-up meeting with the legal team." Maya nodded once. "Fine, but understand this. I will be present, and I will verify every document." Outside the conference room, protesters had begun gathering quietly. Signs folded, voices murmuring. Security cameras tilted, recording. On her way out, Maya paused by the glass wall. She watched the lobby. Customers walked past, unaware of the story unfolding within these walls. She thought of Jamal waiting in the car, small hands gripping his backpack strap. The manager followed her to the elevator. "Ms. Carter," he said softly, "we're trying." "We'll see," Maya replied. Her voice held ice. Trying isn't enough. In the parking lot, the chill cut her skin. She opened her phone, emails, comments, messages of support. She typed a short reply to Alex Moreno. The meeting happened. They are talking, but not taking responsibility. Jamal clutched her hand as they walked to the car. "Will it stop now?" he asked. Maya exhaled, locking the car doors. "No, baby," she said. "It's only just begun, but we're going to make them accountable." As she started the engine, she glanced back at the building. The conference room lights reflected in the windows, a subtle glare. Inside, words were being polished. Outside, consequences were quietly assembling. And somewhere in the corporate maze, someone realized that hiding behind language would no longer be enough. Maya was ready, and the story was moving beyond the aisle, beyond her neighborhood, into the system itself. The following week, Maya felt the weight of the story in every corner of her life. At home, Jamal was quieter than usual, picking at his cereal and watching the ceiling fan spin in slow circles. "Mom," he said one morning, "why do people say bad things about me online?" Maya's chest tightened. She wanted to tell him it would stop, that the world would see the truth and move on. But she couldn't. "Some people judge without knowing," she said. "But we can't let them decide who we are." At work, her inbox had become a minefield. Messages from reporters, attorneys, and curious strangers piled up. Her supervisor's tone had shifted. "Maya," he said cautiously, "we support you, but your focus is slipping. Please manage accordingly." "I am managing," she said, voice tight. "I'm just busy." "Be careful," he added. "Don't let this affect your standing here." The words felt like a warning, the subtle kind that isolates a parent fighting for her child. After school, she picked Jamal up, noticing the sideways glances from parents and teachers alike. He whispered. They were staring. "They're just curious," she said, brushing it off. But the sting lingered. At night, the trolling escalated. Some comments questioned her integrity, her parenting, even her motives. She blocked accounts, reported threats, and still the notifications kept coming. Amid the chaos, a local fundraiser for legal fees appeared without her initiation. Messages of support poured in, flowers, calls, emails. It was overwhelming. She accepted gratitude politely but remained guarded. The attention carried risk as well as hope. Sleep became fractured. Jamal's counselor noted the signs: anxiety, restlessness, hypervigilance. Maya watched her son flinch at shadows, startle at voices, and tried to carry her own fear quietly. She missed work meetings, canceled lunch with a friend, declined invitations. The story demanded her full attention, and the city's gaze was relentless. One evening, she reviewed the footage again, noting small details: the guard's hand twitching toward the radio, the manager's hesitation, the subtle nod from a bystander. Every moment a microaggression, a system at work. Her phone buzzed. Another reporter, another attorney, another message from a parent sharing their story. Maya rested her head in her hands. The cost of doing what was right was heavier than she anticipated. Exhaustion pressed into her bones, fear pressed into her mind, and yet she could not stop. Jamal climbed onto the couch beside her. "Mom," he said, "will it ever feel normal again?" Maya hugged him tight, feeling the weight of her own answer. "Not exactly," she whispered, "but it will feel safe. That's what we're building." Outside, the city moved on, oblivious. Inside, a mother measured every step, every word, every post. Each choice carried consequences, but Maya had resolved to see them through. She looked at her son, asleep later that night, and thought, I will endure everything for you. Every insult, every accusation, every sleepless hour. Because the system may have tried to define us, but we will define ourselves. And tomorrow, the fight would continue. The morning light spilled across Maya's kitchen table as she sipped her coffee, eyes glued to the glowing screen. Legal discovery had begun. Through her attorney, she received internal emails from BrightMart, memoranda instructing loss prevention staff to monitor certain profiles more closely, notes on past incidents, and training slides that suggested children of color were statistically more likely to be suspicious. Maya's stomach knotted. Patterns, now documented, sprawled before her like a map of systemic bias. The guard's claim, his calm assertion in the aisle, had been scripted into policy. The manager's vague apologies were meaningless. They had been trained to minimize exposure, not to correct injustice. A whistleblower came forward anonymously, offering her first-hand testimony. I watched them target kids. The email read, I saw it happen over and over. I'm scared to speak, but the truth need to be told. Maya forwarded the correspondence to her attorney, fingers trembling. Alex Moreno called. This is bigger than your video, he said. You have proof now. Footage plus documents. The story is systemic. Maya felt both relief and exhaustion. The city's attention was beginning to converge. News vans parked outside BrightMart, journalists dialing into their laptops, editors reviewing footage. The clip had gone viral once, but now it had depth, a pattern, a documented system, undeniable. Jamal appeared at her side, sleepy-eyed. Will they be punished? He asked. I don't know, Maya said, brushing his hair back. But the truth is coming out. Emails stacked, memos and policy slides, screenshots of HR meetings, reports of prior incidents. Each file confirmed the guard story wasn't a single lapse. It was encouraged, normalized, hidden behind language that minimized responsibility. BrightMart stock began to dip. Social media tracked the story. Hashtag spread, calling attention to institutional profiling. Maya watched the world react, her heart heavy with the knowledge that each click, each share, brought exposure, but also risk. By late afternoon, she received a call from the lawyer. We can file a motion to compel more documents, he said. If they resist, we have ground for sanctions. Maya nodded, feeling a resolve harden in her chest. This was no longer about one aisle, one accusation. It was about a system designed to discriminate quietly, and she would expose it fully. That evening, she showed Jamal the new emails, the slides. See, she said gently, this is why speaking up matters. He leaned against her shoulder, silent. She could see the weight in his eyes, the understanding that the world could be unfair, but that speaking truth mattered. Maya exhaled slowly, fingers on the keyboard. She began drafting a timeline, the video, the guard's accusation, internal emails, whistleblower testimony. Each entry a brick in a wall of accountability. Outside, streetlights flickered. Somewhere inside BrightMart, the guard sipped coffee, unaware that his story was unraveling. A manager shuffled papers, realizing their language would no longer shield them. Maya closed the laptop, looking at Jamal. Tomorrow, she said, we push forward. The city hummed beyond the window. Policies would be questioned, actions would be scrutinized, and consequences, finally, would follow. The courtroom smelled of varnish and nose, a muted tension hanging over the polished oak benches. Maya sat in the front row with Jamal beside her, fingers intertwined, his small hand trembling slightly. Reporters whispered in corners, cameras angled just enough to capture the proceedings without intrusion. The guard entered, posture rigid, eyes scanning, lips pressed tight. Behind him, the manager appeared, muttering quietly to their lawyer. Maya's stomach tightened, a cocktail of fear and resolve. Today was no longer about a single incident in an aisle. Today was about exposing systemic injustice. The judge, a woman with a calm yet commanding presence, called the session to order. We are here regarding the alleged wrongful profiling incident at BrightMart involving Jamal Carter, she said. Her gavel tapped once, succinct, heavy. Maya's attorney began questioning the guard. Describe your decision-making process that day, he asked. The guard cleared his throat. I observed suspicious behavior consistent with our policies. Policies? Maya's attorney pressed. What policies, exactly? The guard hesitated. Loss prevention guidelines. Standard procedure. Maya's attorney produced emails and slides from the discovery. These internal documents, he said, handing them over, explicitly identify children of color as higher risk profiles. Were you aware of this? The guard's eyes flicked, twitching. I follow training, he muttered. Jamal, would you like to speak? Maya whispered. Jamal nodded, walking to the stand with measured steps. He faced the courtroom, chin lifted despite the quiver in his voice. I didn't do anything, he said. I was just reading cereal with my mom. He said I was a thief. I'm 10. I don't know why. The courtroom was silent. Even the judge's pen paused mid-note. The manager took the stand next. Questions were pointed, backed by documentation. Admissions came, slow and reluctant. Prior complaints ignored, vague guidance from corporate, a culture that prioritized minimizing noise over protecting children. Maya watched Jamal in the witness seat, the weight of the past weeks on his small shoulders. Yet he was composed. Each word he spoke cut through the corporate jargon, a reminder that human impact could not be obscured by policy language. Her attorney turned to her. Would you like to give a statement? Maya stood, heart pounding. This wasn't just about my son, she said, voice steady despite the tremor. It's about every child who has been profiled, humiliated, or silenced. It's about the system that allowed it and continues to allow it. She laid out the timeline, evidence, and the video that had gone viral. Each piece a strike against indifference. The judge leaned forward, eyes narrowing. It is clear that systemic issues contributed to this incident. The court will order a comprehensive review of BrightMart training policies, and sanctions will follow where responsibility is established. A murmur passed through the room. Maya felt Jamal squeeze her hand, a quiet anchor amidst the storm. The guard's shoulders slumped. The manager avoided eye contact. The courtroom, once tense, now carried a quiet gravity. Justice was not fully served yet, but accountability had begun. Outside, the press gathered, notebooks open, cameras focused. The story had reached a tipping point. Maya guided Jamal to the car, the winter air sharp and biting. Mom, he said softly, is it over? Part of it, she said, but now everyone will see. And that matters. As she drove, notifications pinged again. Updates, news clips, public reactions. The system had felt untouchable, but today, exposure had pierced its defenses. And though the road ahead remained long, Maya felt, for the first time in weeks, that their voices had begun to matter. BrightMart's headquarters buzzed with tension. Emails flew back and forth. Executives huddled behind glass walls, and PR staff drafted statements that no longer felt sufficient. The weight of evidence, the viral video, discovery documents, whistleblower testimony had shifted the power balance. Corporate could no longer bury the story behind vague language. The guard had been dismissed. HR confirmed it via email, curt and final. The manager submitted a resignation, citing personal reasons, though internally murmurs suggested otherwise. Maya read each update carefully, savoring the proof that accountability could arrive, even in slow, bureaucratic measures. On social media, the story reached national news. Hashtags calling out racial profiling trended. Commenters praised Maya for her courage, shared similar experiences, and demanded systemic reform. The public had become part of the reckoning, turning attention from one aisle to an entire policy framework. Jamal was quieter at first, observing the news reports from his tablet. They are fired, he asked, hesitant. Yes, Maya said, relief threading through her voice. But it's bigger than firing one person. It's about changing how the store treats people like you. She watched him process the justice, the weight of seeing consequences unfold. She knew that even with victories, scars lingered, the humiliation, the fear, the knowledge that the world could see him as a target before seeing him as a child. BrightMart announced a sweeping reform, independent oversight for security, revised training emphasizing anti-bias policies, and a public commitment to transparent accountability. Maya attended a press briefing, camera flashes stinging, but she felt grounded. She spoke briefly, emphasizing truth, evidence, and vigilance. At home, Maya and Jamal celebrated quietly. They ordered takeout, watching a movie, laughter threading between cautious smiles. For a moment, the world felt lighter. Yet Maya knew the story's impact extended beyond his victory. Systems were slow to change, public attention waned quickly. But the record existed now, the documentation, the exposure, the legal consequences. That night, she tucked Jamal into bed, smoothing the hair from his forehead. "We did it," he whispered. "Yes," she said, pressing a kiss to his temple. "We fought, and we made a difference. But always remember, change takes vigilance." Outside, the city lights flickered. The BrightMart aisle that had once been a place of humiliation now stood as a symbol, a reminder that injustice could be challenged, that exposure carried weight, and that courage, even by a single mother, could force reckoning. Maya closed the laptop, feeling both relief and exhaustion. The battle was not over everywhere, but for her son, for herself, for the system, a line had been drawn. The guard and manager faced consequences. Policies were shifting, and a story that began with fear had transformed into one of accountability. Months had passed since the BrightMart incident. The air in Maya and Jamal's neighborhood smelled less like fear and more like ordinary life. The grocery store still stood on the corner, its automatic doors sliding open and closed, but the shadow it had cast over their lives felt lighter, diminished. Maya walked down the same aisles where the confrontation had occurred, her phone tucked away. Cameras had captured it all. Policies had changed. Accountability had been enforced. Yet she moved cautiously, attuned to the lingering awareness that systems, even when altered, could fail again. She saw children like Jamal browsing cereal boxes, parents standing close, unaware of the invisible lines that had once defined their experience. One afternoon, another mother approached her in the parking lot. "Are you Ms. Carter?" she asked, her voice soft. "I just wanted to say thank you. My son, he could have been next. Your courage gave me hope." Maya felt a lump in her throat. "Thank you," she said, clasping the woman's hands. "We just did what we had to do." At home, Jamal laughed again while building a Lego city on the living room carpet. The trauma of months past lingered in small hesitations, in the way he flinched at sudden movements, but his resilience shone through. Maya watched him, aware that every small victory in everyday life counted. She logged into social media, seeing the stories that had branched from her own. Families sharing experiences, legal teams posting updates, activists mobilizing. The narrative had grown beyond her, beyond one child in one aisle. That evening, Maya sat at the kitchen table with her laptop. She began drafting a blog post, not to relive the pain, but to document the lessons learned, the steps to protect children, and the importance of vigilance. This was a continuing fight, education, awareness, advocacy. Jamal peeked over her shoulder. "Are you writing for me too?" She smiled. "For you and everyone else, baby, so nobody has to feel powerless again." Outside, the city hummed softly. The streetlights reflected in the windows, a gentle reminder of ordinary rhythms returning. The BrightMart story had changed many things: policies, awareness, and perhaps hearts. Yet the cost of vigilance remained, a subtle but constant presence. Maya closed her laptop, feeling both exhaustion and hope. The battle had been waged, consequences had been met, and change, though imperfect, had begun. She hugged Jamal tight, whispering a promise that together they would keep speaking, keep watching, and keep fighting for truth and justice. The story had started in a single aisle, but it had grown into a movement, a quiet proof that courage could pierce bureaucracy, that a mother's vigilance could protect her child, and that the aftermath of injustice could be transformed into resilience and change. And as the night settled around their home, Maya understood this fully. Though the fight against systemic injustice was ongoing, they had claimed a moment of victory, and with it, the power to carry forward, stronger, wiser, unbroken.